Get my mind right. You know, you gotta get your mind right before you do one of these videos, man. What's good, TMG fam? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy L. Salute to everybody. Listen, 5 scary videos you will regret watching. Let's go.
These are the types of creepy videos that left people never feeling the same again. Number 5. I covered Peggy the headache doll a while ago, but she is up to new antics at a different location that's really creepy. This cursed doll, believed to be possessed by the angry spirit of a girl who lost her life during the 1930s, does not appreciate being gawked at by visitors for money as this CCTV video shows. Peggy squares up with a random woman as soon as she enters the exhibit. It looks like the woman could have tripped, but look closer. There's no step, nothing to trip over. The floor is even. Her feet are firmly planted on the floor. She goes to lean on the doorway and one hand flies up to her chest, the other grabbing the wall to keep from getting shoved over. Shoving is just one of the many reasons why Peggy can never stay housed in one place for long. Her previous owner, a famous paranormal investigator named Jane Harris, shipped the doll.
How much would somebody have to pay y'all to sleep in that room? How much would somebody have to pay you? Sleep in that room all night, can't go nowhere. Like, they put your little bucket in there to use the bathroom or whatever you empty out in the morning, deal with it. How much would they have to pay you to sleep in that room? Look at them dolls, bro. Who's gonna sleep? I'm up, eyes like this. A few more hours.
All the way from the UK to America because she feared for her life. The doll has been known to cause migraines, heart problems, and lifelong problems in otherwise healthy people. And in case you were wondering, yes, just looking at her on video is enough to bring a lifetime of bad luck. Peggy now resides in Zach Bagans' haunted...
He gonna tell us that now, after we don't look at her on the screen.
Museum in Clark County, Nevada, a place where visitors already expect to be cursed and paranormally pestered anyway. So in this regard, she actually fits right in with the other haunted artifacts. It's not uncommon for the more sensitive of visitors to pass out. This woman drops face first to the ground in front of a wall of cursed items, so it's hard to say which one in particular got to her. It's also possible that she psyched herself out and passed out from fear, but as a concerned crowd gathers around her, Zach Bagans notices a mysterious white light fly away like a ghost in retreat. I personally suspect it could be a bug and a coincidence. So much weird behavior happens here that I suspect visitors really are being influenced by the abundance of paranormal energy around them. Not too long after the woman passes out, a second man abruptly stiffens up and stares down an employee who is dressed as a clown. She does absolutely nothing to provoke him, but he towers over her for no reason at all, as if he's being possessed. Maybe something evil in the room was stirring them all up. Number 4. Connor is an urban explorer from the UK who has been making urbex videos for over 3 years and has had his share of eerie encounters. The Explorer Returns is the name of his channel, and on it are 2 places in particular that I bet he wished he never stepped foot in. One of them is the Merrick Park Nursing Home. Shut down in 2014, the nursing home became the center of controversy after 2 residents lost their lives due to neglect. An investigation revealed the elderly were being fed medication that was out of date and didn't work. They were also helplessly exposed in cold water baths for prolonged periods of time, and other mistreatments that no one should have to endure. It's pitch black outside when Connor and his friend Daniel find the place, and the inside is just as dark. His flashlight combs across room after room filled with flowers sent by family members who had no idea what miserable conditions their loved ones were being kept in. The doors still have names on them, and the residents seem to respond to having their name read aloud.
I hope the afterlife is so excruciating for the ones that was doing that to those elderly people, man. Holding them down in cold water baths for extended periods of time. Bro, I pray that your afterlife is excruciating. I pray.
Connor enters one room and a feeling of intense unease makes him let out an involuntary moan. A woman's laughter comes from the corner of the room by a pile of her former possessions that are no doubt teeming with energy from her passing. Like I said before, it's only Connor and Daniel, so they shouldn't be hearing any other voices, let alone a laugh like this one. At any rate, the spirits seem relatively friendly until they make a mistake at 2 minutes and 19 seconds by wiping some leaves off of these two names with their shoe. They meant no disrespect by the gesture, just the opposite actually, but stepping on the names of those who have passed in their own home is bound not to go over well. After all, these spirits have already experienced enough mistreatment when they were still alive. Connor steps at the doorway of a laundry room lined with someone's clothes. He doesn't notice the arm of the shirt sleeve move on its own. It's probably just a draft from the open
I say the window's open now.
Window now that I look closer at it, but that still doesn't explain the angry eyes peering at him from within. They somehow miss this and instead focus on something upstairs. The power is off, and yet a strange chime takes them up a floor. The tension grows as they track it from room to room until the source is only a few feet away.
Yes, I'm here.
They find a motion sensor that stays on for as long as the door remains open. However, it wasn't going off until recently, so that means the door must have just opened when no one was on that floor. It's weird, but they're more relieved it's not an alarm, so they press on to the 3rd floor. Holes in the roof have left some rooms filled with leaves and open to the elements. They don't find much up here, and when they are ready to leave, their suspicions about opening doors are confirmed.
Like, a lot of these rooms look like squatters been living here, bro. Like, this stuff look like it's recently somebody has been squatting in these places.
Nothing, just empty just rooms.
The door that they had clearly left open at 12 minutes and 50 seconds is now mysteriously closed. Either it has shut on its own, which is certainly possible because it's pretty thin and lightweight, or else something closed it besides them. As they are leaving the Merrick Park nursing home, the camera picks up a final occurrence. Listen. The craziest of all, though, has to be when Connor explores an abandoned asylum at 1 in the morning. Through the woods and under a gate lies the hapless estate where many were held their entire lives. It takes Connor 8 minutes just to find an unboarded window, and by then he is almost too fearful to venture inside. Aside from the
When I see stuff out on the ground like that, it looks like a body could be up under that. Look at it.
window, and by then he is almost too fearful.
It looked like a blanket, right? But right at the top of the blanket, it looked like a little head indention. Yeah. Yeah. And then it looked like on the outside of a possibly white blanket, it looked like a blood stain.
To venture inside.
Dude, somebody gonna stumble upon a murder one day.
Aside from the paranormal, this looks to be a possible hangout for tough locals as well. The inside is completely and unnaturally silent. The house doesn't creak, crack, or settle at all.
And then looking at that hole, look at that.
Creak, crack, or settle at all.
Look at that. That hole to that window, that's somebody getting in there. They probably trying to seek shelter, someplace to just crash. They don't have nowhere to stay. So, you know what I mean? That looks like somebody, that's a man-made little hole right there for somebody to get in, don't you think? Just my observation.
Connor keeps hearing things that don't register up on camera, and he suspects that something is in the large room with him. He sets up a K2 meter to detect electromagnetic energy but finds none. He talks out loud to a spirit who apparently isn't there, then gets moving again. Or maybe the spirit was listening close by all along.
Let's go upstairs.
When he goes into the next room, he catches on camera a fleeting glimpse of a tall shadow at 12 minutes and 15 seconds. He doesn't see the shadow man in real life, but his equipment certainly does. It's not graffiti either. if that's what you were thinking, because when he comes back downstairs and turns at 17 minutes 4 seconds, the wall it was standing against is clean. It's nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, the room where Connor left his K2 meter suddenly experiences odd activity as a mysterious white light slowly grows into a beam for a full minute, from 15 minutes and 15 seconds to 16 minutes and 15 seconds, and then fades away. He goes back to the K2 meter and runs some more experiments. None of his questions get any answers, and it doesn't seem interested in communicating with him at all, or at least not as much as it wants to from a distance. He sets up the K2 meter in another room and decides if this doesn't work, then he will end the investigation. He doesn't know that he has already caught both a shadow figure and a mysterious white light on tape already, and is growing somewhat frustrated. Just when he is ready to give up, the shadow man returns. And as he quivers in the cold, he fails to miss two eyes looking at him from the doorway where the footsteps just were. The K2 meter still hasn't gone off, but that's because it's not in the room with him. It's clearly waiting just outside.
I don't care what type of investigation I'm conducting or experiment or whatever that I'm doing. I'm not sitting in no abandoned place with every light possibly off where I can't see nothing that's coming to me. Not to say I'm gonna see it anyway, but the light on gonna make me feel better about being able to check and look and pay attention to my surroundings, fam. I'm not doing, no.
I'm done. I'm so done.
Upon announcing that this investigation is over, the Shadow Man takes it upon himself to walk into the same room and make itself known.
Holy.
Number 3. Dwayne Ragland of New Orleans, Louisiana is the...
Is that a church?
Number 3. Dwayne Ragland of New Orleans, Louisiana is the extra friendly host of the Paranormal Encrypted's channel on YouTube. He seems to almost always be in a good mood and isn't afraid to joke around with friendly spirits and talk trash to unfriendly ones. He knows just what to say to rile them up and then gets them back under control. Take this exploration of a local New Orleans church for example. The place is in the early stages of collapse and rotten down to the foundation. Ceiling rafters with loose nails hang low. I'd say in another year, any supernatural entities inhabiting this area won't have a place left to haunt. His two friends, Alan and Rosie, have been here once before and know exactly where to look. There's a back room where they heard a demon growl before, so that's where Dwayne begins his journey. He doesn't see anything, but I do.
I'll find a place to set up a live stream or do a spirit box. Wow, no ceiling.
It's a demonic little figure with a tuft of black hair, swaddled in brown robes, that dips in and out of the shadows. When they go back into the main room, Alan has a camera malfunction.
My camera just shut off.
I believe.
It's a brand new battery.
I know, we charged them off.
And my battery's brand new right now. Look.
Huh.
They decide this is as good a spot as any to set up the spirit box, and it seems their instincts were entirely accurate. Dwayne gets an answer on the first try.
Does anybody want to talk?
Soon a woman steps forward to chat, but right before he can get her name,
Anybody want to talk? Hi. What's your name?
something else interrupts her. A presence named Pete who doesn't want anything to
Don't be whispering your name at me, Pete. Pete. Nah, bro. No. That's not for me.
do with them,
Anybody want help?
and whose disagreeable attitude seems to persuade the other one to follow suit.
Hello, y'all want to play? You know? Are you scared?
Listen to what happens when Dwayne asks the spirit if they're mad. Don't listen to the spirit box, listen to the background.
Are you mad? Kinda.
Two voices talk to Dwayne the whole time, Pete and the girl with no name. Dwayne gets them riled up for a few minutes, encouraging them to taunt him more and more.
Look at the face of the dog. That's telling.
Dwayne gets them riled up for a few minutes and
He like, man, bro, I'm so tired of doing this, bro. Can we get out of here? I got something I could be doing better than this, and this is scary. Look at his face. Like, that's telling to me.
encouraging them to taunt him more and more. He's talking about how he hopes he doesn't step on a nail, when finally the spirits have had enough and decide to send him to the floor.
If I gotta step on a nail, Mike could possibly lose a foot or a leg. Whoa. He had a floor give.
Pete says break break moments before the floor gives way, and when Dwayne gets up, the man and woman mock his shortness of breath.
Alright. Bro, I'm getting attacked.
You okay?
So he's either continuing to get messed up by ghostly presences here, or else he stood up too fast and is getting a head rush.
My head feels like a million needles are sticking in it.
And that's crazy now that I'm thinking about it. You never really thought or imagined or cared to believe that a ghost or something would just live and reside in a church. I never really thought that would be a place. You would think that place alone would kind of ward out and keep away ghosts or paranormal activities, because what that, you know what I'm saying, what it stands for. So I never really understood how this could even happen. Something's not right about that. I don't know.
All in my forehead. I ain't leaving. Damon, why don't you? No. But I just got pushed.
Shortly after he gets pushed, his dog senses something and cowers behind Rosie, clearly
Told y'all, pay attention to the dog.
ready to leave. They decide to leave before it brings the whole building down on them and go over to the graveyard nearby. Pete follows and lets Dwayne know it's not over yet.
Oh, hi. Yeah. Hal and Rosie. Bruh. I ain't never come so close to falling so many times just in a few minutes.
A few minutes later, they all agree it's time to go. It's the right decision in my opinion. Number 2, Shadow Hunters Paranormal Investigations, led by Nick Sarlo, is an underground society with 15 years of experience hunting spirits in and around Lake County, Illinois. Nick had his first paranormal experience at the age of 17 and formed the Shadow Hunters as a way to better understand it. Don't fear what you can't see is their motto. On October 11th, 2016, the Shadow Hunters took to the Pollock Hospital in Bartonville, a medical building with no terrible stories of neglectful management to speak of for a pleasant change. The patients were actually given the best treatments available, and somehow that's what makes its history even sadder. You see, even though the nurses were doing all they could, the hospital was built in 1949. The sheer number of patients who lost their lives in pure misery virtually guaranteed the building would be haunted forevermore. No less than 4 cemeteries now surround the property. That's how many lives were lost. The hospital shuttered its doors in 1973, but some supernatural odds and ends are said to still roam the hospital halls, unaware that their allotted time on Earth expired long ago. The Shadow Hunters now hope.
Why not demo these buildings? Like, that's what I'm starting to think. Like, questions I had. Like, demo these buildings. If you're hearing that they have some sort of haunted presence or paranormal activity, demo the building. Let's get rid of it. Start fresh, anew. Or just, like, classify this site as no more. Like, you know what I'm saying?
To respectfully document their presence, Nick and his team head to a section of the women's ward where patients with no chance of surviving were sent to pass. In this room is a ghost with a penchant for grabbing men, so they set up motion sensors and line up 2 volunteers. It isn't long before Nick is having trouble finishing his sentence because of how he is being handled.
I'm not kidding me. Or I'm not kidding.
What?
She's touching my right now.
The K2 meter does detect electromagnetic activity.
Oh, we got some freaky ghosts on the loose.
When Terry holds it to where Nick says that he is being grabbed, it could be simply detecting the electromagnetic activity of a cell phone in his pocket, if he has one. But at the same time, it does back up his claims that a ghost is near. Also, look what happens when Nick wants to show if anyone else is in the room with them.
Hey.
Did that just start?
No, that started moving.
Holy guacamole burgers, and now you're setting off my detector.
A big wooden spool rolls towards Nick with a forward momentum generated from nowhere. The K2
These fools trying to have an orgy with the ghosts, man. They all out here wilding. What's shadow hunters? Y'all are crazy.
meter lights up excitedly as Nick steps back, proof to them that the ghost is near. Later that day, they leave to explore the nearby 4 cemeteries, but not before setting up cameras around the Pollock Hospital first, and wait until you see what happens around this area. They claim nobody was down there, and yet something definitely was messing with the camera, ghost or otherwise. The next night, they get a spirit to spin atop for exactly 20 seconds before it turns over. A rocking chair moves by itself despite the fact that Terry's arms are crossed, Nick's hands are in his lap, and their feet are too far away. I suppose a third investigator could be laying on the floor to create this illusion, so it's too bad we never get to see all of the rocking chair to make sure. Anyway, after catching so many paranormal events on camera, it should come as no surprise that Nick's home has inevitably become haunted over the years. Something lurks in the surrounding woods too, something that makes people feel sick and watched at the same time. A shadow figure that they have taken a picture of once before and hope to capture on video tonight for better evidence. On November 9th, 2019, they decide to confront it once and for all. They return to the same area of the woods and detect nothing, so then they sit at the playground at the outskirts of the woods and wait. A strange feeling soon washes over them and they know it's near. They play back digital voice recordings of themselves and hear something that does not belong.
There are cars going by. The playground is where the shadow figure.
Okay, that was not me.
They think it says fire, but I hear a girl whisper, "Find me." Then it says exactly where to look.
Did y'all hear that? I didn't really catch that one.
Right about when this happened.
Let me go back a little bit.
Then it says exactly where to look. Right about when this happens, the faintest of shadows passes by Ashley's camera, a brief change in the light. That's almost imperceptible unless you already know where to look. Don't be disappointed if you still can't see it. In fact, consider yourself lucky. I've got a challenge for you. Since you've made
Consider myself lucky. I just didn't see it. Let me back up and try one more time.
When this happens, the faintest of shadows passes by Ashley's camera, a brief change in the light. That's almost imperceptible unless you already know where to look. Don't be disappointed if you still can't see it. In fact, consider yourself lucky. I've got a It's been getting really popular with the Spanish-speaking YouTube community, and due to that popularity, I decided to analyze it. Specifically, one picture that I came across that I'll get to in just a moment. Bob is a man who operates a YouTube channel and declared years ago that he's possessed by a spirit. According to him, the spirit's ultimate goal is to destroy him, and there's nothing he can do to save himself, since it's all caused by powers beyond his control. Anyway, this picture has recently made rounds online in the Spanish-speaking YouTube community. In it, there appears to be a hand that sticks out the back of his SUV and seems to be reaching out for help, possibly trying to get the attention of the car behind them. Meanwhile, Bob stares at the camera with a dazed and perhaps slightly angry expression, though it's hard to tell what kind of mood he's in, to be honest. I went to his channel hoping to find the original thumbnail image for comparison purposes, but I was unable to find it. A quick look at his YouTube channel reveals that a lot of his thumbnails are car selfies, and none of them have a hand in the background. So my guess is that someone took a still frame from one of his videos and just photoshopped the hand in. And if we enhance it, the outline of the hand looks kind of wrong.
I'd be sitting here lying if I ain't say he don't put off those vibes though. The vibes of somebody who could do something like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, just based upon that look he giving right now, it's that look, man.
Like it was cut and pasted into the shot. So in conclusion, I don't think he's driving around with anything like that in the back seat. Nothing can prepare you for these.
I hope not, man. Hope not. I've been watching a lot of, we watched the True Crime Daily video and all that type of stuff like that. So my mind is like, I don't know. Don't be, what would you say? Don't be naive to somebody, cause signs, the look is there. At least, at minimum, he got the look down pat. All right, so, but y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Leave your boy a like for the video, share, subscribe, and stick around and stay tuned. I'm out, man.